जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तां हमारा। जय हिंद।
Jai Hind. So this is the thing which I want to make it out today, class. And now we'll turn back to our class. What I want to make it out. Are you hearing me, participants?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you hear the national anthem?
Yes, sir.
Both audio and visual.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So now read what I posted on the screen. Read what I posted on the screen. Did I did not post it. Say that, sir, you did not post anything.
Sir.
You
Sir,
say that, sir,
we
you
are
did not post
reading it.
anything. You say, huh? Yes. Read what I posted on the screen.
That we had a problem.
Joshua.
Sir, good evening, sir. Leading case law, Stanley versus Powell.
Yes,
Mohammed
now,
Saheb Hussain, Professor.
yes, now you tell me the facts of the case law because we already discussed this case law.
Sir, the facts, sir, they are actually having a sport, sir. The name of the sport is called, I would say, I forgot the name, sir.
The bird, what is the bird name?
Sir, the bird name is...
We discussed this, what is called the bird name. I told you already that the bird name
Reading, sir, its name is pheasant, sir.
Pheasant. See, I have shown the figure also.
Yes, sir.
Phesant, pheasant. But Peasant is a tiller. Yes, and pheasant. Yes, go through. Pheasant.
While the defendant is firing the pheasant, the bullet went and hit the one of the plaintiffs accidentally, sir. So the plaintiff he made a case. What else? So he went to the court, sir. Then the justice was like, it is an accident, or else it is
What accident
inevitable
it is?
accident.
What accident it
Inevitable
is?
accident. Inevitable.
To tell that like that because we spent a lot of time to explain this case law. So that is Stanley versus Powell case law. Then we discussed the Brown versus Kendall also, dogs. And we also discussed how many types of the dogs, you know it? See, there are 20 types of the dogs are there nearly. So we need not remember all the 20. That this, what this dog name is? What this dog
Pass on,
name
sir.
is? Say, pass on.
Pass on, sir.
This is called Labrador. Labrador. Labrador, Labrador dog, that is. What about this one? It is also one of the species, it is ferocious. This is a Cocker Spaniel. This dog is Cocker Spaniel. What about these dogs? These are all ferocious animals. This
Dobermans.
is Tosa Inu. No. Doberman I will show you. And what about this one? This is also Bull Mastiff. The Bull Mastiff dog. This is also dangerous dog. What about this dog? Malamute. This is called Malamute. And this is called Saint Bernard. And this dog is called American Bulldog. This is American Bulldog. And this is Great Dane. Now we will come across this dog is Akita. It's also dangerous dog. And this is a wolf hybrid dog. Then we will come across of course, that's not that. This is the Doberman. Doberman Pinchers. This is Doberman. It's a ferocious dog. And this dog is called the Husky. It's also a ferocious dog. And this dog is a Rottweiler. This is also a ferocious dog. So this is a German Shepherd. So we know the Doberman, German Fisher, Labbardo. These are the only we know because the police department use these dogs. This dog we use it, Labbardo. That is the dog which I have shown. This dog, Labrador. Labrador, Labrador, Labrador. So these are all the ferocious dogs are there. So here, the Brown versus Kendall, the two dogs are barking each other, and a man wants to separate with them. Can you separate the dog with the hand?
No, sir, we can't.
You can use a stick or any other instrument. While he was separating the stick went into the eyes of somebody else and got injuries. So the incident was purely an inevitable accident for which no claim could lie. So the court held that the defendant is not liable for the injuries suffered by the plaintiff, as it was purely an inevitable accident. That is called Brown versus Kendall case law. I told you already, no case law.
No tort law.
No tort law. And this Padmavati versus Dugganayaka, we discussed this case law. Can you tell me what are the facts of the case law? Padmavati versus Dugganayaka. I will give you the hint. Lift. Now you tell me. Lift, L-I-F-T, lift.
Pass on, sir.
See, this is the way you have to remember the things, otherwise you will not remember. The driver of the jeep took a jeep to fill the petrol station. The two strangers took a lift in the jeep. The jeep got toppled due to some problem in the right wheel. The two strangers who took the lift were thrown out of the jeep and they suffered some injuries, leading to the death of one person. Means among the two, one is died because the front wheel came out of it socket. మీరు చూసారండి ఇప్పుడు నా జీబ్లో సాకెట్ ఉంటుంది, సాకెట్లో ఇది రౌండ్ అయితే తిరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి ఇవి. Of course, pushing wheel is back wheel, but now all the new cars are running wheel is front wheel, the back wheel only the trailer తిరిగి వస్తూ ఉంటుంది. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
For the jeeps, there are four-wheel gear is there. Means all four-wheel run. Especially when you see the military jeeps. The military trucks are no, that's the four-wheeler. In some of the, what I say, hunting jeeps are there, four-wheeler, that is. Means front two-wheel also moves, back two-wheel also moves. Because engine will move the axle to the front wheel, engine will move the axle to the back wheels also. Four-wheel drive, we will say.
Yes, sir. 4WD.
Mechanica, sir, మీరు ప్రొఫెసరా సార్? A person who teaches the law of tort, he is a master of everything. So Padmanayaka versus Dugganayaka, Padmavati versus Dugganayaka, it is a lift and they are stranger, they are not going to get it because it is an inevitable accident. Moreover, this case law I discussed where?
Voluntary
Inevitable
non-fitting.
accident.
Voluntary not fit injury. There I discussed this case law. And the conclusion which came out of this case is the master of the driver could not be made liable as it was a case of the sheer accident and the stranger had voluntarily got into the vehicle. So this case law can be used in the both the
Voluntary not fit injury and inevitable accident.
both the defenses, that is voluntary not fit injury and inevitable accident. Okay, that is the way you have to make it. The principle of already not fit injury was not applicable here. Then this is the nitroglycerin case law. The firm of the carriers, the defendant in this case was given a wooden case which was carried out one place to another place. The content of the box were unknown because it is kept in a wooden box. The box leakage was there. Then the defendant took the box to their office so they can examine it. After taking out the box, they saw it was filled with nitroglycerin. This nitroglycerin is very, very highly, what I say, exploding material, this substance this is. And then it suddenly exploded.
Inflammable.
Yes, nitroglycerin is the explosive material. If it is just friction would be there enough, it will explode. So when they are opening the box, they found the nitroglycerin and they found it is exploded. The office building which belonged to the plaintiff got damaged, and the defendant were not liable for the same as they could not foresee such a thing is there in the boxes. So this is also comes under the
Inevitable.
inevitable accident. In the picture I have shown something. Can you tell me what is that?
Shock absorbers.
Yes?
Shock observer, sir.
Yes, it is observed to whom? It's a truck, it is a jeep, it is a car. Only heavy load. Only heavy load వెహికల్స్ దీన్ని ఏమంటారంటే తెలుసా అండి ఇంగ్లీష్లో చెప్పాలా?
మెయిన్ స్ప్రింగ్స్ ఇన్
Suspension.
లారీ సార్, ట్రక్.
we can say it's the suspension only. కానీ లీఫ్ ప్లేట్ సస్పెన్షన్ అంటారు దీన్ని. లీఫ్ LEAF లీఫ్ ప్లేట్ PLAT ప్లేట్ సస్పెన్షన్ అంటే తెలుగులో ఏమంటారండి? పట్ట.
కమ్మి పట్టీలు. కమ్మి పట్టీలు.
అది పట్ట పోయిందిరా, పట్ట కమాన్ పట్ట పోయిందిరా అంటారు. ఏమంటారు?
కమాన్ పట్టీలు.
కమాన్ పట్ట పోయిందిరా, ఒకటి కింది పోయిందిరా, అందుకోసం బండి ఇటు వంగిందిరా అంటారు. ఈ కమాన్ పట్ట పోతే ఏంటంటే బండి ఒకసారి గుంజుతుంది. ఆర్ యు ఫాలోయింగ్ మీ?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is the command patta case law. Now we will see it. Can anyone read this case law, command patta case law? Yes. Unmute and read. I wish
In the
that
case
new
of-
people should read. I wish that new people should read. New people are not coming. Okay, anyone?
In the case of Oriental Fire and General Insurance Corporation Limited versus Rajrani, the front right spring and other parts of a truck broke all of a sudden, and the driver could not control it and dashed it into a tractor that was coming from the opposite direction. The driver and the owner of the truck could not prove that they had taken all reasonable precautions while driving the truck. The court held that this case comes under negligence and has nothing to do with the inevitable accident, and the defendant was liable.
See, this case law, whenever you go for the long drive, number one, whenever you go for the any hair, you have to check engine, gear oil, brake, suspensions, pattas, air, everything, greasing, you have to check it for the long distance when you are going. So this is also the same. Oriental Fire and General Insurance Company Limited versus Raja Rani case law, the front right spring, that is a patta, leaf patta, of other parts of the truck broke all of a sudden, and the driver could not control it and dashed into a tractor that was coming from the opposite direction. ఎందుకంటే బ్యాలెన్స్ ఒక పక్కకు గుంజుతుంది. ఆర్ యు ఫాలోయింగ్ మీ? In
Yes,
one
sir.
side it will move. So accident was happened. The driver and the owner of the truck could not prove that they had taken all reasonable precaution, because whenever they are going for the long hair, they have to check each and everything. Then they have to keep the truck ready for the load. So the driver and the owner of the truck could not prove that they had taken all the reasonable precautions while driving the truck, but they have to check it. Generally, no, when you go to the long drive or a long, for instance, here to going to the Madras, from Hyderabad to Madras by road. So what we do now, we take our vehicle to the garage and we'll ask them, sir, we are going for the long, please check everything is all right or not. So he will check each and everything. Then he said, okay, sir, sir, that part is going to be collapsed, sir, please make it out. So better change it. So they will change it, they'll say, no, we can go, sir, no matter. Of course, if something goes wrong, that is, we cannot be in your hand, but precautionary method one should have to take it. The court held that this case comes under the negligence because the driver and the cleaner, they did not check the entire truck whether the patta, any leaf is came out or not, or whether there is something broken or not. So they have to check it. They did not try to check it. That is the reason it has pulled down to one side. And of course, when all of a sudden it will not be there, suppose it is falls in the ditch. If it falls in the ditch, naturally this command patta will be broken with the heavy load is there. The court held that this case comes under the negligence on the part of the driver and the cleaner because they did not take the proper methods, and hence it is not amount to the inevitable accident. The defendant was liable. The defendant was means
Liable.
Defense is available or not? Whether the defense is available here or not?
No, sir.
Not. The defense is not available. Yes, in this case, Fordham versus Hartcourt, the dog and motor car case, that's already we discussed this case law. Reasonable foreseeability does not mean remote possibility. This case law we discussed. They kept the dog in the car and they went for the mall. But a passerby, what he did it? What he did it?
He came to the window and he irritated the dog.
He came to the window and make the face to the dog. Make the face అంటే డాగ్ చేసినట్టు వాడు కళ్ళు తీసి టంగ్ బయటికి తీసి దాన్ని ఎక్కిరిచ్చిండు అన్నట్టు డాగ్ని. So he made a face to the dog and the dog became ferocious and it with the paw it smashed the window glass. Then what came out of the window glass?
Glass piece splinter.
Splinter, S-P-L-I-N-T-R, splintered entered the eyes of the pea, causing the injury. Hell, this was an inevitable accident and was not liable. And this case law also can be mentioned where?
Inevitable accident.
Voluntary injury.
No. ఇప్పుడే చెప్పాను నేను. రీజనబుల్ ఫోర్సిబిలిటీ డస్ నాట్ మీన్ రిమోట్
Remote
పాసిబిలిటీ. ఫోర్సిబిలిటీ కింద వస్తుంది ఇది. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద కేసెస్. సో ఇన్ దిస్ at least we have reviewed the 2 or 3 cases. Fordon we reviewed and Oriental no, this is a new case law. And Padmavati Dugganayaka, yes, we did it. And Brown versus Kendall, yes, we also did it because it also came there. Where reasonable forcibility does not mean remote possibility. Repeat.
Reasonable possibility does not mean remote possibility.
Yes. So only repetition that he could learn the things. మీ లైఫ్లో చెప్పండి, ఈ పట్టా గురించి తెలుసుకున్నారా అండి ఎప్పుడన్నా? గుండె మీద చేయబెట్టి.
సార్ ఇప్పుడే తెలుసుకున్నాను సార్. ఇప్పుడే
Never seen,
తెలుసుకున్నాను
sir.
సార్. మీ
This
దయ
is a leaf plate suspension. స్ప్రింగ్ అంటారు దీన్ని. లీఫ్ ప్లేట్ స్ప్రింగ్ అంటారు దీన్ని. దాని తెలుగులో కమాన్ పట్ట అంటారు. ఓపెన్ ఛాలెంజ్ చేస్తే నేను మీ స్టూడెంట్స్ అడిగండి ఎవడన్నా. ప్రొఫెసర్ హుస్సేన్ స్టూడెంటే చెప్పగలుగుతాడు. ఓకే, లెట్ us come to the point. Then దిట్స్ యాక్ట్ ఆఫ్ గాడ్. దీన్ని ఏమనాలా? విస్ మేజర్. ఇది లాటిన్ టర్మినాలజీ. యాక్ట్ ఆఫ్ గాడ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పండి.
Thunderbolt hitting a man on the ground.
Which is not in the control of the human being. Whirlwinds, torpedo, hurricane, tsunami, cyclone, volcano. అయిపోయిందా అండి? ప్లీజ్ యాడ్. సార్ అన్ని చెప్పిన తర్వాత ఇంకేం యాడ్ చేయాలి సార్ మేము? నేను ఒకటి చెప్పలే ఇంకా. Earthquake. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
repeat.
sir.
Repeat.
Earthquake, tornado, tsunami, cyclone,
Hurricane.
volcanic eruption, hurricane, etc.
Okay. So act of God serves a good defense under the law of torts. It is also recognized as a valid defense in the rule of strict liability. మనం బ్రిటిష్ ఇంగ్లీష్ యూజ్ చేస్తామండి, యుఎస్ఏ ఇంగ్లీష్ యూజ్ చేయము. కాబట్టి జెడ్ తీసేసి ఎస్ పెట్టాలా? ఆర్ యు ఫాలోయింగ్ మీ?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the rule of strict liability ఇది in the case of the Raylan versus Fletcher. Raylan versus Fletcher case మనం కొంచెం డిస్కస్ చేసాం ఇది. Can anybody will tell the what is the facts of the case law? Shaft అన్నాను, that reservoir అన్నాను, that having the 4 mill he collected the water and but the shaft completely not closed. It is partially closed over there because of the pressure of the water. The shaft where it is not completely closed, it is touched with some timber. The timber eats away, the termites eats away the timber. It became a shallow down. Then the pressure of the water gave the way. Then the adjacent mine which is having is fully flooded with the water, where he could not mine the coal or anything, either coal or whatever where the mine would be there. So he said, I have given the reservoir construction to the independent contractor. For the independent contractor, then the owner is not liable, but there is an exemption would be there. It is a strict liability. under the strict liability, the owner would be held responsible even though the work is given to the independent contractor for the construction of the reservoir or sump. Sump tank difference cheppandi sir.
Sump is underground and
Sump-
tank is over
Sump is
the.
underground and tank is high up. So reservoir either down or up also. They're generally reservoirs. All reservoirs are in only down. Okay, so here it is the responsibility of the owner who constructed the reservoir for the holding the water. He has to take all the precautions over there, whether it is completely, the shafts are completely closed or not, because unused shafts are there, and which leads to the ground of the mine. So this is the case law where the strict liability will come. We have the separate case, separate chapter for the strict liability. Again, you have to say the same cases. Facts. The defense of the act of God and the inevitable accident might look the same, but they are different. Both are different. Because here, a man-made mistake. That is, what is the man-made mistake? The independent contractor could not fill the shaft so thoroughly. So that is the negligence on the part of the independent contractor. But here, it is not an act of God. It is not an inevitable accident. It is completely different. It is a purely the negligence on the part of the owner. The act of God is not a kind of inevitable accident in which the natural forces play. There is no natural forces, because natural forces in a such a way which will be not in the control of the human being. For example, heavy rains. ఈ మధ్యలో వానాకాలంలో ఎప్పుడు అంత వానాలు పడలేదు తెలుసా అండి మీకు? Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Time immemorial, people did not see such rains either in the Khambam or in the Hyderabad or in the Warangal or in the Karimnagar. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now
Sir,
let
I
us
have
see
a doubt, sir.
Yes. Vimana.
Sir, at
Yes,
present,
sir.
from which location are you taking the class for us, sir?
I did not catch you.
From where are you teaching us this class, sir? You are staying in Hyderabad, sir? Are you staying
Yeah,
in
in
Hyderabad?
Hyderabad also there are innumerable water are there, because I stay sometimes in Hyderabad, I stay sometimes in the Hanamakonda. Okay.
At present, you are in?
Yeah, Hanamakonda, Kotta bus stand దగ్గర. Now I'm staying. So now let us come to the point of the essential required for this defense are, number one, natural force should be there, working should be there. Number two, there must be extraordinary occurrence, and the one which could be anticipated and guarded against the reasonability. So if the two things are comes, one is it is a natural force should be there, another is extraordinary occurrence, it is happened over there, then we can say it is the act of God. వర్షా కాలంలో వర్షం పడడం సామాన్యము, కానీ 7 inches వర్షం పడ్డదంటే పెద్ద వర్షం అన్నట్టు. బికాజ్ జనరల్లీ 3 inches ఉంటుంది, బికాజ్ దే విల్ కౌంట్ ఇన్ ద ఇంచెస్. సో దట్ ఈస్ అ బిగ్. 14 పడ్డదనుకోండి కథమే, అవుట్ అయ్యి ఇల్లే అని మొత్తం కొట్టుకుపోతాయి. ఓకే, వర్కింగ్ నేచురల్ ఫోర్సెస్, లెట్ us see the one of the case law. Yes, somebody mute it. I could hear your sound. Mute చేయాలి, మాట్లాడినప్పుడే అన్మ్యూట్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, ఇన్ anyone can unmute and read this case law. I want the preferably a new faces. A new face should have to read it. Yes. Maunika, you read this case law. AV Maunika, unmute and read.
Sir. In Ramalingam Nadar versus Narayana Reddiyar, the unruly mob robbed all the goods transported in the defendant's lorry. It cannot be considered to be an act of God, and the defendant, as a common carrier, will be compensated for all the loss suffered by him.
Then who robbed the goods? Thieves, robbers.
Unruly robber.
Is it the act of God?
No, sir.
It is the act of man,
Negligence.
human being. Theft is the act of human being.
Yes, sir.
It cannot be considered under the act of God. There is no natural forces. There is no extraordinary things happen. When the carrier is carrying the goods from one place to another place, they have to lock it and they have to have a A gunman also with them with the gun. If any people come, he can shoot them. So a gunman, do you know in the night trains there is a gunman for each bogie? Railway police, he is having a gun and he will not allow you. He will lock the doors. But whenever the station comes at the time, he will open the door. Otherwise, sometimes he lock the door. Literally, he lock the door with the padlock. When the station comes at the time, he will open the door. Because they want to see that no robbery, no nothing should be there in the train in the night. It is a long distance trains, everybody in the sleep mode. So it is not considered the act of God because robbering is a man-made, hence we will not come under it, and then they have to compensate it because goods when it is given to you is nothing but the indemnity. So in the same way that you have to supply to the other end and hand over there, and at that instance, yes, definitely defendant is liable. There's another case law is there. The Nichols versus Marshland is a landmark case law. The defendant created an artificial lake on his land by collecting the water from the natural streams. So he's having a lot of lands from the catchment area, and he construct the artificial lake. Whatever the rainwater comes in the natural stream, he will collect it and put it. If the excess would be there, then another dam he will get. That's why he is having 7 roughly artificial dams he constructed in his own land. Once there was an extraordinary rainfall was there, and heaviest in the human memory, such an extraordinary rainfall would be there. Then all the lakes, all the dams would give the way. Give the way ante matadi paddayi annattu. Give the way, na matadi kaadu, cut ayindi. Matadi paddavante let off paiki elli durukutadi. So all the dams were breached and they gave the way. So each dam, the entire water goes to the down area where the plentiful land is there and the field is there. Then his total field is inundated in water. What water? This flood water. Inundated. మునిగిపోయినాయి. Spelling INA, DAUNTATED, inundated in the flood of water. The court held that the defendant were not liable as the case was due to the act of God because such a rain never happened in the memory. Like last time that is happened, never happened in the Warangal, Hyderabad, Karimnagar, or either you say Khammam. So in these areas, that never happened such a heavy water would be there because of పైన కట్ట దిగిపోయినా అంటారు చూడండి. Are you following me?
Gandivaram.
The dam is breached. దాని అనాలి, దాని ఆర్ give the way అనాలి. Give the way అంటారు దాంట్లో. So that is said to be the act of God. Which one? Nichols versus Marshland. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Occurrence must be extraordinary to the memory. Memory ki extraordinary undala occurrence. Such then only it can come the act of God. The same extraordinary occurrence of the natural force is required to plead the defense under the law of tort when you say the act of God. Unko case la judo Kallulal versus Hemchand. It is a rainy season and there will be a leakage in the roof. So the leakage of the roof falling on the mud wall. So about the 2.66 inches there means it's the ordinary. 3 inches is ordinary. 7 inches of rain is a bit good. More. 14 is very havoc. With 10 kana paikunnadanuko havoc annadu, time immemorial. The incident resulted in the death of the respondents' children because there is a leakage in the roof. The roof water fell on the mud wall. When the mud wall got wet, అయితే ఏమవుతుందండి? It loses its balance. Are you following me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Either it may fall inside or outside where the balance will go out. So దాని పక్కకే ఏమన్నారంటే పిల్లలు పడుకున్నారు అక్కడ, ఏది గోడ పక్కకు. అది యాక్చువల్లీ ఫుట్పాత్. the people are sleeping. The incident took place where the death of the respondents' children was there because it fell outside because of the heavy weight of the weight. Then it is a mud wall. Mud wall అంటే మట్టితోనే కట్టింది, అది బ్రిక్ తోని కాదు అది. Are you following me?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it becomes wet and the balance is out and then it fell down. The court held that the defense of the act of God cannot be pleaded because the rainy season, rain is a common, that to be 2.66 inch. by the appellant. In this case, it is not an act of God. Rainfall is a normal rain would be there in the rainy, and something extraordinary not there. When you say something extraordinary required over there, then we can say it is an act of God. Otherwise, ordinary rain is a common in the rainy season. The appellant was held liable. It is not the defense of the act of God will not be applicable. ఒక విలేజ్ నుండి పోయిండు, విలేజ్ నుండి ఒక అబ్బాయి పోయిండంట, అబ్బాయి కాదు పర్సన్ పోయిండు, ఎదులో బ్యాంకులో పోయిండు. బ్యాంకులో పోయి చూసిండు, బా బ్యాంకులో పైసలు ఉన్నాయి. మరి బ్యాంకులో ఏముంటాయండి? వంకాయలు ఉంటాయండి?
ఇట్లనే ఉంటాయి సార్.
బ్యాంకులో పైసలే ఉంటాయండి, కట్టలే చూసినట్టు.
ఇట్లనే ఉంటాయి సార్.
బికాస్ బ్యాంక్ వేర్ యూ హ్యావ్ ద మనీ అండ్ కాయిన్స్ బట్ నాట్ ద బ్రింజల్స్. ఏమనాలండి వంకాయల్ని?
బ్రింజల్స్.
అదే మళ్ళీ దొండకాయల్ని ఏమనాలండి?
లేడీస్ ఫింగర్.
వెరీ
సారీ
గుడ్.
సార్, ఇట్ ఇస్ బెండకాయ.
బెండకాయలు
లేడీస్
అంటారండి,
ఫింగర్
ఈ
బెండకాయ
దొండకాయలు
సార్.
కావు.
దొండకాయ అంటే మీరు చెప్పండి సార్.
బెండకాయల్ని అంటారు లేడీ ఫింగర్, మరి దొండకాయల్ని ఏమనాలండి?
లిటిల్ గాడ్. లిటిల్ గాడ్
లేదు, గెర్కిన్స్ అంటారు. సార్ మీరు చెప్పిన రాకపోతాను రా సార్, ఇప్పుడు చెప్తా. గెర్కిన్స్ అంటారు జనరల్లీ, బట్ ఐ డోంట్ నో వాట్ ద అదర్ పీపుల్ కాల్. గెర్కిన్స్ అంటారు జనరల్లీ. దట్ ఈస్ అదేనా అండి, కాదా?
అంతే సార్, గెరికేనే సార్. ఇప్పుడే గూగుల్ చేసిన.
స్మాల్ కుకుంబర్స్ అంటారు దాన్ని. కాదు గెర్కిన్స్ దోసకాయలు అయితే, దోసకాయలు కావు, దోసకాయలు వేరే. కుకుంబర్స్ దోసకాయలు అయితే ఇవి.
సార్ గర్కిన్స్ ఓన్లీ సార్.
గెర్కిన్స్.
GHERKIN.
ఎప్పుడైనా మనం నెమరేస్తుండాలా. నెమరు అంటే తెలుసు కదా?
అవును సార్, ఎప్పటికప్పుడు
నెమరు
రిపీట్ చేసుకుంటా ఉండాలి.
మ్యాస్టికేట్ రీడ్ రిసైట్ అండ్ రివ్యూ చేస్తూ ఉండాలి, లేకుంటే మర్చిపోతాం. నేను కూడా మర్చిపోతాను లేకుంటే ఇది గెరికిన్స్ చెప్పకపోతే. అప్పుడప్పుడు నేను కూడా నెమరేస్తూ ఉంటా, ఎందుకంటే పోతా కదా ఎక్కడికి, మార్కెట్కి పోయినప్పుడు, అరే దీన్ని ఏమంటారు, దాన్ని ఇంగ్లీష్లో ఏమంటారు, దీన్ని ఇంగ్లీష్లో ఏమంటారు, అప్పుడప్పుడు నెమరేస్తూ ఉంటుంది. దొరకలేదు అనుకోండి, ఇది నాకు స్మార్ట్ ఫోన్లో కొడతా అప్పటికప్పుడే. ఆర్ యు ఫాలోయింగ్ మీ?
Brilliant sir, brilliant sir.
That is the tendency one should have to develop it. Then you would have a lot of vocabulary. When you have a lot of vocabulary, you can bombard like anything. No platform can beat you, even though you doesn't know the subject, but you can speak about the subject at least half an hour when you have the language power and language command. Okay?
Okay sir.
Right. So Kallulal versus Hemchand, it is not an inevitable accident because the rainy season, rain is a common, and that if the 1.6 inches is there, then the person who was...
Sir, it is not an act of God.
It is not act of God. It is not act of God. It is an act of man. Negligence is the of the landlord.
Yes sir.
Is the negligence on the part of the landlord. He did not repair the sar sur nevanalandi cheppandi ippudu naaku. Yes.
What sir? Suri.
Sur నీళ్ళు అంటారు చూడండి.
Yes, sir.
ఆ సూరు నీళ్ళని ఏమనాలంటే, సూర్యుని అంటే ఈవ్స్ అంటారు, ఈఏవి ఈవ్ అంటారు. దాన్ని డ్రాప్స్ ఏమంటారు, ఈవ్స్ డ్రాప్స్ అంటారు. సూర్యు నీళ్ళు అంటారు దాన్ని, ఈవ్స్ డ్రాప్ అంటే సూర్యు నీళ్ళు. ఈ సూర్యు నీళ్ళు కూడా దేని మీద పడ్డాయి అనుకోండి డేంజర్. సూర్యు నీళ్ళు ఎప్పుడైనా కిందనే పడుతుంది. ఓకే, ఈవ్స్ డ్రాప్స్ అంటారు దాన్ని. ఏమనాలా ఇదని ఈవ్స్. ఈవ్ అంటే మరి ఆడవాళ్ళను కూడా ఆడమండి ఏవ్స్ అంటారు కదా, ఏవా ఏవి అది సీవ్ డ్రాప్స్. DROPTS DROPS యూస్ డ్రాప్స్. ఈ సూర్యు నీళ్ళు అంటారు. ఇమేజెస్, when you see that images, then you can know it, what is that actually it is. And why it cannot be reached? Why it cannot be reached? Net is there. Net is there. It insights cannot be reached. Now it is showing some other thing.
Sir, I got something sir. Eavesdrop started off literally.
Yeah. Eavesdrop. Dropping stock photos, pictures, royalty, eavesdrops, Instagrams. So దాని సూర్యు నీళ్ళు అంటారండి మొత్తానికి. EAVESC, not EAVS, not EVESC, I think. EAVESC, eavesdrops. What is the meaning of eavesdrops here? See, to listen this secretly to private, అది eavesdrop ni మరి conversation, eavesdrop, initiative of the eavesdrops and eavesdropped, ఈ సీక్రెట్ గా వినడం కూడా అవుతుంది eavesdrops అంటే. సీక్రెట్ గా వింటాం చూడండి, ఈఏవిఎస్, ఈవ్స్, సురుకాడుని నిలబడి వినడం అని అంటది.
Sir, I got something, sir.
Yeah. So both the ways that you can use this eavesdrop.
It is referred to the water that fell from the eaves of a house.
Yes. So
Then
that
it came
was-
to mean the groundwater.
Yeah. So if the leakage of the roof is there, it is a negligence on the part of the landlord. It is not an act of God because it is not time immemorial. So that is the case law. In Green Knock Corporation versus Caledonian Railways, the corporation built a paddling pool for the children. Paddling pool అంటే తెలుసు కదండి, 2 చేతుల ప్యాడెలు ఉంటాయి, దాంట్లో మూవ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు. By deviating the natural flow of the stream of water owing to the extraordinary rainfall, the stream overflowed, the water entered the property of P and damaged it. It was held that though the rainfall was an act of God, the deviation of the stream was a human intervention and hence the corporation was liable. The contention of the act of God is the defense was rejected. Because when you make a pool by diverting the stream of the water, that means your intervention is there. Suppose when such a thing would be there, when a heavy rain comes over there, you have to keep a control over the stream. అందుకోసం తూములు పెడతారు చూడండి. తూము అంటే తెలుసా అండి?
Yes, sir.
కట్టలకు తూము అంటారు చూడు.
Yes, sir.
తూముని ఏమనాలి సార్ ఇంగ్లీష్లా? Okay, later we'll think it about it, because now the situation comes, then I will give you the answer for you. There should be controlling mechanism should be there for the diverting the stream. Otherwise, it will lead to the problem would be there. So the human intervention is there, and at that time you cannot say it's a
Act of God.
ఏమంటారు తెలుసా అండి? స్లూయిస్ అంటారు. ఏమంటారు? స్లూయిస్ అంటే తూము అన్నట్టు. SLUICESE, images, images, స్లూయిస్ కనబడ్డా? ఇక్కడ గేట్లు కనబడుతున్నాయా? ఇక్కడ గేట్ కనబడుతుందా అండి మీకు?
Yes, sir, కనబడుతుంది.
ఇక్కడ కనబడుతుంది చూడండి, స్లూయిస్, SLUICE, స్లూయిస్. గేట్లు కనబడతలేవా అండి ఇవి? ఇగో
Canal
కనబడతా
gates.
చూడండి, తూము ఇక్కడ కనబడతాను చూడండి, తూము. యు ఫాలోయింగ్ మీ?
Yes, sir.
దాన్ని ఏమంటారు? స్లూయిస్ అంటారు తూమును. SLUICE, స్లూయిస్. అండ్ వెన్ ద వాటర్ గెట్ మోర్, దాన్ని ఏమైతే గేట్లు ఓపెన్ చేస్తారు, ఎందుకంటే మరి అది డ్యామ్ తెగిపోతుంది. ఆర్ యు ఫాలోయింగ్ మీ?
Yes, sir.
సో హియర్ ఆల్సో దట్ నేచురల్ ఫ్లో స్ట్రీమ్ని వాళ్ళు ఇంటర్వెన్షన్ చేశారు కాబట్టి దే హ్యావ్ టు యూజ్ ద సమ్ అదర్ మెకానిజం. వెన్ ద హెవీ వాటర్ కమ్స్ ఓవర్ దే, దే హ్యావ్ టు డైవర్ట్ ద వాటర్. ఇఫ్ దే డోంట్ డైవర్ట్ ద వాటర్, but it directly comes to the pond, and when it comes to the pond, it will damage it. So it's a man-made act to divert the stream, and when you divert the stream, you have to take the precaution. If the heavy water would be there, the stream water should have to make the sluice over there. The rest of the water will pass through the sluice, but not enter into the artificial pond. So that is the mechanism. They fail to make it out. Hence, it is not an act of God. It is a man-made
Intervention.
Yes, now you read, then we will stop it. Still time is there. Okay, read that. Anyone can unmute and read?
Lightning, earthquake, tsunami, cloud burst, tempest, hurricanes, snowfall, frost, volcano, etc. are acts of God. In Noble versus Harrison, a branch of a tree fell on the car and the car was smashed. It was an act of God, and hence the owner of the tree was not liable. In another case, a tiger died in the premises of a circus with iron chains. A lightning struck the chain. As a result, the chain was cut off and the tiger escaped. It went to the nearby village and killed a person. This was an act of God, and the circus owner was held not liable.
So here, Noble versus Harrison lo ఏమవుతుందంటే, a branch of a tree fell on a car when on the highway, and the car was smashed. అయితే whether it is a to act of God or not. So they say the tree examined properly, but we did not expect that the tree is the branch is going to fall, and that to be when the car is moving under the tree. So it was an act of God. Hence the owner of the tree was not liable, because generally nowadays even the government will plant the trees adjacent to the roads. Why? Because there is no road erosion. The road erosion should not be there, because these roots will hold the earth. That is the reason. So a lightning struck the chain. A lightning ayindanukondi, that is a lightning is not in your hand. Lightning is the act of the God. Are you following me? మెరుపులండి
Yes, sir.
సార్ పిడుగురు ఏమనాలి సార్ చెప్పండి.
Thunder.
థండర్ బోల్ట్.
Thunder.
థండర్ బోల్ట్.
Thunderbolt.
ఇట్ ఈస్ ది యాక్ట్ ఆఫ్ గాడ్.
Yes, sir.
యాక్చువల్లీ థండర్ బోల్ట్ అంటే కాదు, ఏం లేదు, అది ఆ ఎనర్జీ ఏమవుతుందంటే డైరెక్ట్లీ ఇది ఎర్త్ మీద పడిపోయి ఎర్త్ని అట్రాక్ట్ చేస్తే దీన్ని స్మాష్ చేసి పెడుతుంది. అంత హీట్ ఎనర్జీ ఉంటుంది అక్కడ. అది ఫాలోయింగ్ మీ. ఇక్కడ మనుషులు కాదు కదా, కొండ కూడా మొత్తం స్మాష్ చేసి పెడుతుంది. అంత ఎనర్జీ ఉంటుంది అన్నట్టు దానికి.
Yes,
సో
sir.
లైటింగ్ స్ట్రక్ ద చైన్. యాజ్ అ రిజల్ట్ ద చైన్ వాజ్ కట్ ఆఫ్ అండ్ ద టైగర్ ఎస్కేప్డ్. ఇప్పుడు లైట్నింగ్ వచ్చిందండి, అది కట్ ఆఫ్ అయిపోయింది. జనరల్లీ వెన్ యూ గో ఫర్ ద సర్కస్, వాడు ఏం చేస్తాడండి, వాడు మొత్తం బ్యారికేడ్ పెడతాడా పెట్టాడా?
పెడతారు సార్.
అంత గుండ్రంగా గుండ్రంగా బ్యారికేడ్ పెట్టి చైన్ పెట్టి అది లాక్ చేస్తాడు. కానీ లైటింగ్ వల్ల అది చైన్ దిగిపోయింది. ఇట్ వెంట్ నియర్ బై ద విలేజ్ అండ్ కిల్ ద పర్సన్. అక్కడికి వెళ్ళి ఏం చేసింది ఆ ఫిరోషియస్ యానిమల్ టైగర్, ఇట్ మూవ్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ దేర్ అండ్ కిల్ ద పర్సన్ ఇన్ ద విలేజ్. This was an act of God, and the circus owner was not held liable because the chain was broken because of
Lightning.
lightning. The lightning is the act of God. So it will not be held liable. Now, ఒక క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతారు జారు, చెప్పండి మీరు. When you go for the theater, when you pay more, you will sit at the back in the balcony. When you pay less, you will sit very near to the screen. But when you pay more, you sit near to the circus arena. When you pay the less, you sit in the gallery. Why it is so? Tell me. Anyone? Did you understand my question first?
Yes, sir.
Endukala?
In theater, in theater, when we sit near the screen, we can't see whole of the screen.
Okay.
Sir, in the theater, so the ticket price is less. If we sit far, so we can see that is a big screen, so we can see very clearly. And in the circus, in order to understand the things, we need to see very closely. So we need to sit near. I think so, sir.
In the circus, you will see the real people are doing the stunts.
Yes.
And you want to enjoy when you sit very closer. When you want to enjoy when you sit to the closer, the cost is more. But when you sit at the back, you could not see that much with a naked eye. So really, if the person wants to enjoy it, let them use the binocular and enjoy it. That is because a real show is going on there in circus. And moreover, in the theater, the lights will affect you when you sit very near to the screen. But if you sit at the far away, the impact would be the less. And hence, money is more at the back. So that is the reason we can make it out for this explanation. So now, Noble versus Harrison, a tree fell and the car became a papad, smashed. At the time we can say, is it a latent defect or patent defect where the branch fell down?
It's not a patent defect, sir.
It is not the patent defect. Patent defect could be seen through the naked eye. A latent defect could not be seen unless we do the experiment on it. Like a suspension rod for the ceiling fan. If it is cracked over there, we can see with our naked eye, there would be a crack in the suspension rod. But in inner side, any defect would be there in the armature, then we cannot make it out, or that is the reason the suspension rod fell down or the ceiling fan fell down and caused the injury to the person. What is the name of the case law? Ceiling fan case law.
Yes, sir.
సార్ అప్పుడే మర్చిపోయినాం సార్ మేము. This is the way where you have to remember the things. Otherwise, you never get it anything. And another point is to err is human being, because we are otherwise we'll become angels or we'll become saint. Errare humanum est or errare est humanum. To err is human being, human, and that is the Latin terminology. So no doubt, even sometimes I also err it, but sometimes you have to correct me if it is wrong. సార్ మాకు అంత తెలిస్తే బాగానే ఉంటుంది కదా సార్. నో నో నో, ఇట్ డజంట్ మీన్ దట్ యూ నో సంథింగ్ విచ్ ఐ డోంట్ నో, అండ్ ఐ నో మెనీ థింగ్ విచ్ యూ డోంట్ నో, బట్ ఓన్లీ దట్ ఈస్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ వీ కెన్ మేక్ ఇట్ అవుట్. సో నెక్స్ట్ డిఫరెన్స్ వీ విల్ This is our tradition that we will make every program start with the national anthem, Jana Gana Mana.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindhu Gujarat Maratha Dravida Vindhya Himachal Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jaladhi Taranga Tava Shubha Name Jage Tava Shubha Ashish Mage Gahe Tava Jaya Gatha Jana Gana Mangaladayaka Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Jaya He Jaya He Jaya He Jaya 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 He.
सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा. जय हिंद.